Islam Makhachev is heading into what could be the most dangerous fight of his entire career, and this time, the outcome might shock everyone watching. The champion is moving up a division, the challenger is out for revenge, and the entire MMA world can't stop debating how this war will unfold, because when Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena finally meet inside the octagon at UFC 322, one man's legacy will rise, and the others might crumble. But before we find out who that is, let's break down what fighters and analysts are saying, because this isn't your average title fight. This is pure tension wrapped in skill.
I'm taking JDM to win that fight. I think JDM, fought arguably a bigger version of Islam in Belal Muhammad, and I think people are underestimating how
Dean Thomas just threw the MMA world into chaos with one of his boldest takes yet. While most experts continue to back the reigning champ, Dean's already betting on the underdog. He's backing Jack Della Maddalena to shock the world. His reason? He says JDM isn't just training, he's transforming. Working under Craig Jones, Jack's grappling has reached an entirely new level. Mix that with his pinpoint boxing and relentless composure, and Dean believes we're looking at a fighter who can break game plans before his opponent even realizes what's happening. Dean isn't calling this a lucky upset. He's predicting a total power shift that could shake two divisions for years to come.
So the right I know you're probably waiting for my pick, huh? I know the world is going to hate me, but I got to see it. Call it like I see it.
You're going to get aggregated.
I'm going with Jack.
All right.
I'm going with Jack. I do. Is Jack the favorite now?
No, not last time I looked.
Well,
did the odds just change? Last time I looked, Islam was a decent favorite.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Jack. I think that for the reasons I'm suggesting, and Jack is young too. If he was like an older fighter, I'd probably say that he wouldn't be able to pick up these new tricks. But when you start teaching a 29-year-old guy a bunch of new tricks, I mean, they're just like a kid in a candy store with this stuff. I think that, him working with Craig for as long as he has been, he's already been a clean boxer. I think that he wins it.
Then came Michael Bisping, and his take only added more heat. Bisping says this fight is as close as it gets. One of the most balanced matchups we've seen in years. On one side, you've got Makhachev, whose career has been built on precision, dominance, and pure control. On the other, there's Della Maddalena, a fighter who thrives when things go wild. Bisping says it's not about who lands the first punch, it's about who stays standing when the fight turns into a grind. He admits even he can't choose a clear winner, calling it an even 50-50 battle where anything can happen.
Well, I'll put you on the spot because you're not calling these fights, and I rarely get to ask you this. Do you think Jack wins, or do you think Islam pulls this off?
Again, it's a coin toss for me. I think Islam has a very, very good shot. I think Jack Della Maddalena has a very good shot, and I know I'm kind of sitting on the fence, but this is kind of how I see this fight. It all depends. I mean, there's a reason generally why fighters commit to a weight class. You know what I'm saying? And for the longest time, how old is Islam? He's 34 years old. Throughout the entirety of his combat sports career, when he was growing up, when he was doing combat sambo and then transitioning to MMA, he's always been this weight class. And that's been for a reason. And there are weight classes for a reason, because the guys are bigger and stronger and you don't have as much success when you're the smaller man, So, and who knows, maybe his technique is that great. And on the feet, Jack's got an advantage. That's just a fact. In the grappling department, Islam has an advantage. That's also a fact. But then you start to look at the intangibles. You start to look into how bad does someone want it? How hard have they trained? What is their kind of, their fighting spirit, for want of a better a cheesy line, but it's true, man. What makes them tick? Who are they? And how badly are they going to prepare? Then you look into the fact that he trains with him.
And then Bisping dropped something that changed everything. He said Islam's connection with Khabib's camp gives him nearly flawless preparation. Every weakness has already been patched, every mistake drilled out. But there's a catch. If JDM can drag this fight deep into the later rounds, into those championship minutes where fatigue and doubt start to creep in, Islam's control could could finally start to slip. Bisping believes that's where this fight gets dangerous. Keep watching, because later in this video, we'll reveal who actually plans to take it into deep waters, and it's not who most fans expect.
And you know they're going to leave no stone unturned. But Jack Della Maddalena isn't there by accident. And that's what this is what makes this such an incredible fight. Because honestly, I could make a choice either way, and it would literally be a coin toss.
Belal went on to explain that Islam's constant pressure could make this a much harder night for JDM than many fans expect. Reflecting on his own fight with Jack, Belal said JDM's striking is crisp, fast, and incredibly technical. Not easy for anyone to deal with. However, he emphasized that against someone like Islam, the battle for positioning will decide everything. Belal warned that Jack can't afford to be backed against the fence, because that's where Islam's takedowns and control are most effective. Once pinned there, the ground fight usually follows, and things can go downhill fast. Belal compared Jack Della Maddalena's style to Alexander Volkanovski's, saying Volkanovski is shorter and more explosive, while Jack uses longer, more methodical combinations. That slower rhythm, Belal believes, might actually help Islam find his timing and shoot for takedowns. He summed it up clearly. If Jack keeps the fight tight and striking based, he's got a chance. But once it hits the ground, Islam takes over.
Jack is longer, so he's gonna have a longer torso for Islam to control, a longer torso for him to get on top of. Volkanovski made those spots harder because he's very short. He's very hard to read. Even with the striking, he's like a little bit more faster with his combinations. Jack does longer combinations, but I think Volkanovski is more explosive. And like I said, it's always harder to fight shorter guys. And fighting in Australia was a very hard spot, I think, for Islam. So for me, with this one, I think I'm gonna pick Islam in this fight to win it. And if it goes to the ground, I think it'll be a...
Merab Dvalishvili also gave his thoughts, saying this won't be an easy fight for Islam, but he's confident the Dagestani team will deliver once again. Merab called it a hard test, but one Islam can pass, citing his unmatched wrestling, timing, and fight IQ as weapons that make him one of the most difficult opponents in the UFC.
Mention Islam, he's moving up to 170. Do you think that he gets the job done and wins that title, or do you think JDM retains?
It's gonna be hard for him, but it's possible to Islam Makhachev wins the second belt. JDM is great fighter, great striker, but Islam is tricky. He has a good wrestling, and he's southpaw. He don't get hits, but he takes people down and he mauls people down.
Merab added that Islam will definitely study Jack's fight with Belal Muhammad and make the necessary adjustments. But he also warned that Jack's striking power and calmness under pressure make him a genuine threat. His quick reactions and smooth movement could create dangerous moments for Islam. It's that unpredictable mix, Merab said, that makes this fight so exciting, because nobody can say for sure how it will play out.
So, and also we all see the JDM Belal Muhammad's fight, and then I'm sure Islam will take lots of lessons from this fight, and maybe Islam will make some adjustment. It's possible, it's gonna be hard, but Islam can win the second belt.
Meanwhile, Ilia Topuria didn't hold back with one of his wildest takes yet. He boldly claimed that Islam Makhachev wouldn't even make it past Jack Della Maddalena, and joked that Islam might end up back in Dagestan herding sheep. When asked if he'd fight Islam next if Makhachev beats JDM, Topuria laughed and said Jack would humble Islam so badly he'd be running home afterward.
ისლამის დამარცხების შემთხვევაში დამარცხებულ ისლამთან გირჩევნია თქვა შემდეგი ბრძოლა თუ პირობითად გამარჯვებულ ცარუკიენთან.
მოკლედ ვერ გავიხსენე სიტყვა, მაგრამ ისლამი თუ დამარცხდა დაბრუნდეს დაღესტანში, თავის ფერმაში. თუ მოიგო კიდე წყალში, ხო? ხო, წყალი მომწყესოს. Johnson
also gave a detailed breakdown of the matchup, praising Jack Della Maddalena's steady rise and sharp technique. After seeing Jack's performance against Belal Muhammad, Johnson said it's clear he's evolved into a serious contender, a real dark horse in the division. He noted that Jack's clean, technical striking turned what was expected to be a cautious matchup into a highlight-worthy showcase, with elite names like Craig Jones and Alexander Volkanovski helping him train for Islam's grappling. Johnson said this fight is far from one-sided. In his words, it could go two ways: a slow, methodical chess match or an explosive war that becomes an instant classic.
You know, to finish him and just out-jab him. A lot of people said that fight was going to be boring. It turned out to be a banger fight. For him to take on a guy like Islam Makhachev, not steering away from that challenge. Islam is coming up, so he's going to be, I feel like comparably size-wise, they're going to be about even, Islam's super good. JDM's got Craig Jones in the camp to, battle.
And
Volkanovski to battle that, Dagestan wrestling. It could be two things. It could be a very, very boring fight, or it could be a very, very exciting fight. Meaning by the way it could be boring is if Islam's able to take down JDM and get his back, hold him.
Johnson continued, saying that if Islam takes Jack down and starts imposing his signature grappling, things could get very interesting. He acknowledged that Islam has all the tools to dominate there, but warned that JDM's unpredictable movement and adaptive fighting style make him a handful even on the ground. Johnson pointed to Jack's past performances, like his fight against Gilbert Burns, where he stayed calm under pressure and showed elite composure. That cool, collected mindset, Johnson said, is exactly what makes Della Maddalena such a serious challenge for Islam.
I'll grapple him, stifle him. He could potentially do that, but the one thing I love about JDM when he fights is he never accepts the position. When he was fighting Gilbert Burns, great grappler, takes him down. Right when he gets up, he throws that knee into the void. Gilbert Burns ducks down into it. He runs into it. JDM doesn't accept the position when he gets taken down. He's always looking to grapple, always looking to anti-wrestle. That's what makes this fight exciting. And he's got some fucking good hands. He's not the way his boxing is, he's very tight. I'm excited for that fight just because we're seeing the best at 155 take on the best at 170. It's very rare when the moons align. Same thing at the co-main event.
MMA Guru also chimed in, calling this fight one of his all-time favorites. A longtime follower of Jack Della Maddalena's career, he encouraged fans to revisit Jack's early fights, calling some of his knockouts pure savagery. Guru believes history will repeat itself, confident that Jack's accuracy, patience, and killer instinct will bring him another highlight finish.
If you haven't seen it, go and watch back Jack Della Maddalena's regional KOs. Some of the nastiest KOs you'll see. He was destroying people on the regional scene. Started 0-2 in his career, went 10-2. After that, 10-fight win streak, and then since has been on a crazy win streak. I think he's on like a 17, 18-fight win streak now in his career, all the way through to UFC as well. I've picked him in every fight, and I'm going to pick him to beat Makhachev as well. Little spoiler for my own prediction video. But my take on this fight is... amazing match.
Came Charles Oliveira, who stunned fans with his firm prediction. Islam Makhachev won't even try to trade punches with Jack Della Maddalena. Oliveira believes Islam will shoot for the takedown immediately and dominate the fight on the mat. His words sparked debate, but Oliveira spoke from experience, having personally faced Islam's pressure inside the octagon. He explained that Makhachev's control and relentlessness are on another level, and said this fight will likely follow the same script: takedowns, top pressure, and control from start to finish.
O que você acha que ganha entre o Jack Della Maddalena e o Islam?
Maddalena, ele é jogo muito complicado, porque ele é cara que ele não vem pra te nocautear rápido, ele vem pra te finalizar, ele vem te magoando, né? Aos poucos, né? Aos poucos. É o que ele fez agora na luta contra o...
Oliveira still gave Jack credit for his powerful hands and slick boxing, but said once Islam closes the distance, the fight will shift instantly. Coming from someone who's felt that pressure firsthand, Oliveira's words carried weight. Fans can't help but wonder, can Jack really stop the tide once Islam grabs hold of him?
Só que eu acho que o Islam vai se dar muito bem nessa categoria, né, mano? Agora vai estar muito mais forte. É um jogo que, tipo, ele gosta de agarrar e botar pra baixo. Eu acho que o Jack Della Maddalena fazia a mesma luta que ele fez, né? Agora contra o Belal, batendo, movimentando, saindo, machucando, é uma luta. Mas se deixar o Islam agarrar e botar pra baixo...
Beneil Dariush also offered his take on the matchup, admitting that while he initially leaned toward Islam, he's now slightly favoring JDM because of his size and elite cardio. Dariush said it's an extremely close fight, but he believes JDM's pace, power, and endurance could give him a narrow advantage.
Spoke last time about Islam versus JDM. Now only weeks away. Do you still favor Islam in that matchup?
I'm gonna lean now towards JDM.
Why?
I don't know. I feel like the size will make a difference. Cardio-wise, JDM has great cardio. Maybe I'm wrong, but now I'm. This is all feel. This is one of the few fights where I can't really give you a clear answer. So I just feel like JDM.
Dariush went on to say that Jack's conditioning is one of the best in the division, and he shines when the fight turns chaotic. He acknowledged Makhachev's technical mastery and control, but added that something about JDM's intensity feels like it could cause an upset. That statement alone stirred plenty of debate among fighters and fans.
He's a big guy. I think he's going to fill into that weight. He's a really big 155er. So I think he's going to... His lifestyle outside of training camp is going to be a little more comfortable, and he'll fill into that weight class no problem. He's going to be he could be champion there for sure.
How do you think he does against JDM?
I think the beginning of the fight's going to tell the story, like how well JDM does at getting up, how well JDM does at keeping Islam off of his feet, off of his legs, off of the cage. It's tough to call that because JDM's a big guy, athletic. I'm excited about that. A lot of fun fights in the future.
Umar Nurmagomedov, however, disagreed. He confidently predicted Islam will dominate once again, saying his teammate is in peak form, faster, smarter, and more focused than ever. Umar emphasized that Islam's mental approach and ability to adapt make him the clear favorite to retain his belt.
Islam in amazing shape, and this guy very smart fighter, and you know, I'm his fan, and he have, you know, he don't have some just one plan for fight, and he have plan A, B, C, and like all alphabet, you know, D, E, A, everything, you know, like if something not he couldn't do, he gonna try other one not good, he have next plan, you know, and he's amazing fighter, and he's amazing friend, brother, and I think he will take this belt. I think he deserves it.
Nikita Krylov added his perspective, saying the move to welterweight was tough for Islam at first, but the results now speak for themselves. He believes Makhachev has gained real power, speed, and explosiveness, transforming into an even more dangerous version of himself. Umar agreed, saying Islam isn't just prepared for this fight, he's engineered for it.
He looks very good now. Do you think he's like very built well for welterweight?
Yes, he become a bigger, you know, now we have more power, more than ever, and I think he's ready.
Luke Rockhold also weighed in, admitting that Jack Della Maddalena won't be able to match Islam's wrestling. But he still called Jack a legitimate threat because of his sharp striking and unshakable composure. Rockhold believes even though Islam has the edge on the ground, Jack's toughness could keep things interesting.
Do you see him beating JDM to win that welterweight title?
That's a tough fight. That's a very tough fight. It's going to be interesting. You know, I think those are my three favorite fighters in the UFC right now. We go Islam, Topuria, and JDM. JDM's he's fun to watch. So, I mean, that's going to be a great fight. You know, he's no slouch at wrestling, but you have a guy that's wrestled his whole life and grappled his whole life versus JDM, who's kind of like, he's secondary on that, but, you know, you never know. He's a bigger guy. So, you know, we'll see how Islam, how he bulks up and how he looks. He looks a lot bigger than what I remember. I used to train with him forever. So, I mean, he's definitely grown. You know, we'll see how he carries the weight.
So now it's your turn to call it. Who walks out of New York wearing the crown? Islam Makhachev, the Dagestani master rewriting MMA dominance, or Jack Della Maddalena, the Australian striker ready to break history and build his own? Drop your pick in the comments below. And if you're still here watching, you're clearly one of the real ones. The fans who live for the chaos, the drama, and the heart of these wars. Hit that subscribe button now because UFC 322 isn't the end of this story. It's the start of a brand new chapter in MMA history.